धारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गौरकिशोर बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जाय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जाय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ प्रसाद गोसाई प्रभु की जाय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जाय। नाम अक्षय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी बिंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। 1 second, just sharing my screen. We'll begin Mangalacharan. Okay. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Avatirno sakarunyo parichinno sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannātha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Lakshmi Kanta Jaya Jaya Nityananda Vallabha Ekanta Jaya Jaya Vaikunta Ishwarnyasi Raj Jaya 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 Bhakata Samaj Jai Jai Patita Pavana Gora Chandra Dana Deho Hridaye Tomar Pada Dvandva Shesha Khanda Katha Bhai Shuno Eka Chitte Nila Chale Gora Chandra Aila Jemate Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtaka Ditaranga Madhye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanardavindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Oh, wait, let's, right now, before I see everybody, let's do the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore mura lok shuno Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal, Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lilar Vyas Vrindavana Das. Vrindavana dasa koilo Chaitanya Mangal, Jahara Shravane Shuddha, sorry, Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal, Chaitanya Nitair Jate Janiye Mahima, Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima, Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhanter Sar, Likhiyachen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar. Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashande Javan, Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tatakon, Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Bhakta Shri Chaitanya, Vrindavana Dasa Pore Koti Namaskar, Aiche Granta Kori Teha Tarila Sangsar, Narayani Chaitanya Ruchishta Bhajan, Tar Garbe Janmi Lashi Dasa Vrindavan, Tar Ki Arvuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan, Jahara Shavane Shuddha Koila Tribhuvan, Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Dhar. Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they're described by Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki Jai, the Gaudiya Bhashya of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Shri Sachi Nandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Swapashad Shri Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, Shubhananta Prabhu, Ananta Om Prabhu, and I see a few devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook. If you write a comment, then I can see who you are. I can see your name right now. You're just a number, but pranams everybody. So this is our second to the last reading of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. We're reading the final chapter, chapter 10 of Antya-khaṇḍa. And yeah, we're gonna get close to the end today, but then tomorrow is Srila Bhakti Balavatita Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day. So we're gonna have a special program for that. Sundar Gopal Prabhu and Achyutananda Prabhu will both glorify Srila Bhakti Balavatita Goswami Maharaj. And maybe we'll also read something. And then the day after that, so on the 3rd, on May 3rd, after 2 days, we are going to have our final reading on the auspicious disappearance day of Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur. Yeah, we'll conclude our reading on his disappearance day, and then maybe we can even start the Sharanagati program. Just yeah, I have some ideas for that. Anyhow, so, all right, let's begin. Haribo Krishna Kripa Prabhu. Haribo. All right, so let's just to get the flow of the chapters, I'm going to read the brief summary of chapter 9, just this paragraph here. So in the previous chapter, chapter 9, we read about Mahaprabhu's acceptance of lunch alone at the house of Advaita Acharya and Nilachal. We heard there's a storm that came, right? So all the sannyasis that normally go with Mahaprabhu when he goes for lunch at people's houses, they weren't able to go. So yeah, Advaita Acharya had his desire, his wish fulfilled. Indra helped him. And then we read about Mahaprabhu's inquiry from Damodar Pandit about Mother Shachi's devotional service to Vishnu. Mahaprabhu asked, tell me honestly, is Mother Shachi, is she performing is she really engaged in bhakti to Vishnu? And then Damodar Pandit became very upset. And that was such a beautiful section. And then we read about Mahaprabhu's resolve not to eat at the house of anyone who did not daily chant 100,000 names of Hari. We read about the Lord's inquiry to Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata whether Gyan or Bhakti was superior, and his jubilation on hearing that Bhakti was superior. Then the devotees' glorification of Lord Chaitanya under the order of Śrī Advaita. They were glorifying the godhood of Śrī Caitanya, which, Mahaprabhu would not ever exhibit that, especially in Nilachal. He would only show himself as a devotee. But because Advaita Acharya told them to, the devotees like, well, Advaita Acharya is telling us. And so then they did a big kirtan. Advaita Acharya composed a beautiful prayer, and Mahaprabhu heard the loud kirtan, and then he came there, and then when he heard them glorifying himself as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he immediately left. And then they all, after a while, and then they didn't even care. They just continued with the kirtan, and they got more and more excited. And then they went to see Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu was ignoring them. And anyway, so that was that pastime. And then we read about the Lord's meeting with Sri Rupa and Sanatan, Mahaprabhu's awarding the name Sanatan to Sakar Malik, Mahaprabhu's confirmation to Srivas of Advaita Acharya's position as a supersoul and material cause of all ingredients. Mahaprabhu became very upset with Srivas when Srivas compared Advaita to, who was it? He compared him to Shukadev Goswami and Prahlad Maharaj. Mahaprabhu was very upset when he heard that. And then he started to glorify Advaita Acharya. So then we read the establishment of Lord Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead by quoting the incident of the great sage Bhrigu from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And the point of that story also was to show how we can't understand the activity, we can't judge a Vaishnav where we aren't able to understand their activities. It's completely, And we read about the inconceivable nature of exalted Vaishnav behavior. All right, so that was the previous chapter. And now in today's chapter, chapter 10, I'm going to just read the verses rather than the summary, because we didn't read that many verses. Hare Krishna Vidyānidhi Sadidi. All glories to yesterday we read up to verse 57. So, all glories to Shri Gaurachandra, who bears the mark of Shrivatsa. All glories to the jewel of Shachi's womb, the personification of Sanatan Dharma. All glories to Shri Gauranga Gopal, who enjoys the performance of Sankirtan. All glories to the Supreme Lord, who is dear to the devotees and who is death to the miscreants. All glories to Shri Gauranga along with his devotees. By hearing these topics about Lord Chaitanya, one attains devotional service. In this way, the hero of Vaikuntha, in the form of a sannyasi, enjoyed blissful pastimes with his devotees. One day, as the Lord was sitting comfortably, Śrī Advaita came before him. Advaita offered his obeisances to the Lord and sat down. Then Gaur Hari smiled and inquired from him. I just want to see this. Okay, sorry. So Advaita offered his obeisances to the Lord and sat down. Gaur Hari smiled and inquired from him. In satisfaction, the Lord asked, "O Acharya, tell me, where have you come from? What were you doing?" Advaita Acharya replied, "I went to see Lord Jagannātha, and then I came here to see you." The Lord then asked, "After seeing Lord Jagannātha, what else did you do?" Advaita replied, "After seeing Lord Jagannātha, I circumambulated him 5 or 7 times." Then we read that long Gaudiya Bhashya on the rules for circumambulation. Then when the Lord heard the word circumambulated, he laughed and said, "You are defeated." Says, "Harila, Harila." Advaita Acharya inquired, "What have I lost? Give me evidence, then I can believe you." The Lord then said, Listen, this is what you have lost. When you are behind the Lord while circumambulating him, you are deprived of the Lord's darshan. For as long as I take darshan of Lord Jagannath, my eyes do not move anywhere else. I do not look to the left or right, nor do I circumambulate. I do not see anything other than the beautiful face of Lord Jagannath. Advaita Acharya folded his hands and said to the Lord, "May I always be defeated by you in this way. E Rup Shakal Hari Tomar Shaitai." But I tell you frankly, Advaita Acharya said, there is no one in the three worlds qualified to act like you. You alone are qualified in this way. Only before you am I defeated in this topic. On hearing the conversation, all the Vaishnavas smiled and raised an auspicious tumult by chanting, Hari, Hari. In this way, the Lord's topics are all amazing. The Lord always showed great affection for Advaita Acharya. One day, Śrī Gadādhara Pandit asked the Lord about the initiation mantra he had been given. Gadādhara Pandit said, I have given someone my initiation mantra, and now I am not getting realization from chanting it. You please give that mantra to me again, and then my mind will be joyful. The Lord said, you already have a spiritual master, so be careful. Do not become an offender. What to speak of a mantra, I can even give my life to you. But it would not be proper to give you a mantra while your spiritual master is alive. Gadādhara replied, but he is not here now, so you can do it in his place. The Lord then said, by the arrangement of providence, your spiritual master, Pundarik Vidyānidhi, will soon come, and you will easily meet him. The crest jewel of omniscient persons knew everything. He said, Pundarik Vidyānidhi will soon arrive in Puri. You will meet him here in 10 days, for he is coming just to see me. I always remember Pundarik Vidyānidhi. Now I understand that you have attracted him to come here. In this way, the Lord happily spent his days hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam from Gadādhara. Whenever Gadādhara would recite Bhāgavatam, the Lord would manifest various symptoms of ecstatic love. The Lord attentively heard the glories of Prahlāda and Dhruva hundreds of times. He had no time for any other activity, for he was constantly engaged in hearing and chanting the names and qualities of Krishna and his devotees. And just as Gadādhara was expert in reciting Bhagavatam, Swarup Damodar was expert in performing kirtan. Whenever Swarup Damodar chanted the qualities of Krishna, who is one without a second, Lord Gauranga would become overwhelmed and would dance in ecstasy. Transformations of ecstatic love, like shedding tears, shivering, laughing, losing consciousness, hairs standing on end, and loud crying manifested in their personified forms. Murtimanta sabe take ishwarer stane. All these symptoms of all these, what is it said? All these prem bhakti vikar, they all manifested in Murtimanta in their personified forms. And they danced along with Chaitanya. When the Lord heard the loud chanting of Swarup Damodar, he would lose consciousness and fall to the ground. Among all the sannyasi associates of the Lord, no one was equal to Swarup Damodar. The Lord had similar affection for Swarup Damodar as he had for Paramananda Puri. Damodar Swarup was expert in the art of melodious singing. The Lord would dance whenever he heard him sing. Swarup Damodar remained incognito as he wandered around the city so that no one could recognize him. Swarup Damodar would induce the Lord to dance by performing kirtan as nicely as Narad Muni. Swarup Damodar would induce the Lord to dance by performing kirtan as nicely as Narad Muni sings, accompanied by a stringed instrument known as tamburu. Our tumburu could also refer to the celestial singer. There's a celestial singer named Tumburu. So, what could be more glorious? Among the Lord's sannyasi associates, there is no one as dear to the Lord as Paramananda Puri. Paramananda Puri and Swarup Damodar were the two most qualified devotees among the Lord's sannyasi associates. These two personalities always remained with the Lord. They accepted sannyas to assist the Lord in his sannyas pastimes. Paramananda Puri was always engaged in meditation, and Sri Swarup was always engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this way, these two sannyasis were like the arms of Lord Chaitanya. Day and night, Gaurachandra enjoyed performing kirtan with Swarup Damodar. While sleeping, eating, or moving about, Swarup Damodar would never leave the Lord for even a moment. In his previous ashram, Swarup Damodar was known as Purushottamacharya, and he had a dear friend named Pundarik Vidyānidhi. So Swarup Damodar was, even from his previous ashram, when he was in Navadip, he had the dear friend Pundarik Vidyānidhi, who is the Vrishabhanu Maharaj in Krishna's pastimes and the guru of Gadādhara Pandit. Even while walking on the road, whenever the Lord heard Swarup Damodar sing, he had become overwhelmed with ecstasy and forget the way. The Lord would relish such ecstasy in the company of Damodar Swarup that he would not understand where he was. The Lord would not know whether he was in the water, on the ground, in the forest, or in the bushes, and he would loudly cry out. Swarup Damodar would perform kirtan alone with the Lord. Whenever the Lord would fall in the forest or in the bushes, Swarup Damodar would catch hold of him. The limit of Swarup Damodar's good fortune is found only in Swarup Damodar himself. All right, so that's where we read up to yesterday. Now we're continuing on. Ekadina Mahaprabhu abhishta hoya porila kuper maje achara khaiya. One day, Mahaprabhu became completely absorbed in ecstatic love and fell into a well. Dekhiya Advaita Adi Sammoha Paiya Krandana Koren Sabe Shire Hat Diya. Seeing this, Advaita Acharya and the other devotees became bewildered, and they began crying as they held their heads in their hands. Kichuna janen Prabhu prem bhakti rase balaker pray jeno kupe podi bhashe. The Lord was enjoying ecstatic love, so he did not understand what had happened. He simply floated in that well like a child. Shekhane kuppa hoilo navanitamoy prabhur shri ange kicho khata nahi hoy. When the Lord fell, the well became like butter, so his body was not scratched. Ekon arbhuta jar bhaktir prabhave Vaishnava nachite ange kantaka na lage. This was not very wonderful. By the influence of devotional service, a Vaishnava also does not feel the pain of a thorn he steps on while dancing. Vaishnava does not feel the pain of a thorn that he steps on while dancing. Tobe advaitadi mili sarva bhakta gane tulilen prabhure dhoriya koto khane. Advaita Prabhu and the other devotees and quickly pulled the Lord out of the well. Porila kupete Prabhu taha nahi jane. Ki bolo ki katha Prabhu jigyase apane. The Lord did not understand that he had fallen in the well. He therefore asked the devotees, "What is going on? Why are you all crying?" Bahya na janen Prabhu prem bhakti rase asarvagya pray Prabhu sabare jigyase. The Lord was relishing the mellows of ecstatic love and was unaware of external events. He inquired from others as if he did not know what had happened. Gaudiya Bhashya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Lord Gaurasundar was so absorbed in the mellows of ecstatic devotional service that no memory of the external world obstructed his cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Moreover, after regaining his external consciousness, he would sometimes act as if he did not understand anything. In this way, he would cover his omniscience and his position as a Supreme Lord. Shri Mukher Shuni Ati Amrita Vachan Anande Bhashan Advaitadi Bhaktagan. Hearing the nectarian words from the mouth of the Lord, the devotees headed by Advaita Prabhu floated in ecstasy. E mate bhakti rase Ishwar vihare Vidyānidhi ailen janiya antare. As the Lord was enjoying the mellows of devotional service in this way, he understood that Pundarik Vidyānidhi had arrived. Chitte matra korite Ishwar khane Vidyānidhi asiya dilen darashane. As soon as the Lord remembered him, Pundarik Vidyānidhi came there to meet him. Vidyānidhi dekhi Prabhu hasite lagila. Bapa ailo, bolite lagila. When the Lord saw Pundarik Vidyānidhi, he smiled and said, "My father has come, my father has come, Bapa aila. Premanidhi premanande, hoila vival, purna hoila, hridayer shakal mangal." Sri Premanidhi became overwhelmed in ecstatic love, and his heart became filled with all auspiciousness. Gaudiya Bhashya. Premanidhi was another name of Vidyānidhi. Shri Bhakta Vatsal Gaurachandra Narayan Premanidhi Vakhe Kori Koren Krandan. The Supreme Lord, Shri Gaurachandra, who was affectionate to his devotees, embraced Premanidhi and began crying. Shakala Vaishnava Vrinda Kande Chari Bhite Vaikunta Swarup Shuka Milila Shakshate. The Vaishnavas on all sides began to weep as they experienced the complete happiness of Vaikunta. Ishwar Sahita Jata Ache Bhaktagan Premanidhi Prite Prem Bade Anukhan. The Lord and the assembled devotees' affection for Premanidhi increased incessantly. Damodar Swarupa Tahan Purva Sakha Chaitanyer Agre Dui Jane Hoilo Dekha. Sarup Damodar was his old friend, and now they met each other in the presence of the Lord. Dui Jane Chahen Duhar Pada Dhuli Duhe Dora Dhari Phela Pheli. They both desired the dust of the other's feet. So they pulled and pushed each other and fell onto the ground. Kehokare na paren duhe mahabali, korayen hasen goranga kutuhali. They were both strong and powerful, and therefore neither was defeated. Lord Gauranga, who inspired them in this way, smiled as he eagerly watched. So Sarup Damodar and Premanidhi, Pundarik Vidyānidhi. They're both strong and powerful, and therefore neither were defeated. Lord Gauranga inspired them in this way, laughed as he eagerly watched. Tabe bahya pai Prabhu Vidyānidhi prati, koto din nilachale tumi koro sthiti. Then the Lord regained his external consciousness and requested Pundarik Vidyānidhi, you please stay in Nilachala for some time. Shuni Premanidhi Maha Santosh Hoila, Bhagya Heno Mani Prabhu Nikate Rahila. When Premanidhi heard the Lord's request, he became very satisfied. He considered himself fortunate and set up his residence near the Lord. Gadādhara Devo Ishta Mantra Punarbar, Premanidhi Sthane Preme Koilen Shrikar. Gadādhara Pandit took the opportunity to lovingly accept mantra initiation again from Premanidhi. Aar ki kohibo Premanidhir mahima, jar shishya Gadādhar ei prema sima. What more can I say about the glories of Premanidhi? The extent of his love is understood by the fact that he had a disciple such as Gadādhara Pandit. Jar kirti bakhane Advaita Srinivas, jar kirti bolen Murari Haridas. Indeed, Premanidhi's glories were narrated by Advaita Prabhu, Srivas, Murari, and Haridas. Heno nahi Vaishnava jetane na bakhane, Undariko sarva bhakta kai vakyamane. There was not a single Vaishnav who did not glorify him. Similarly, Pundarik Vidyānidhi would serve the devotees with his body, mind, and speech. Ahankar tan dehe nahiti lamatra, na bhuji ki arbhutar chaitanya kripa patra. There is not a speck of false ego in his person. I'm unable to understand the wonderful mercy that he received from Lord Chaitanya. Jairup Krishner Priya Patra Vidyānidhi, Gadādhar Shri Mukher Katha Kichu Likhi. Now, I will write something regarding Pundarik Vidyānidhi's position as a dear servant of Krishna, according to what I have heard from the mouth of Gadādhara Pandit. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Gadādhar Shri Mukher Katha means whatever I heard from the lotus mouth of Gadādhar. Vidyānidhi Rakhi Prabhu Apanani Kate Vasadila Jameshware Samudrer Tate. The Lord kept Pundarik Vidyānidhi with him in Jagannath Puri and assigned him a residence at Yameshwar on the shore of the ocean. Gaudiya Bhashya. Pundarik Vidyānidhi was given a residence at Yameshwar Tota, a garden. He lived there and spent a lot of time with Sri Gaurasundar. Nilachale rahiya dekhen Jagannāth, Damodar Swaruper Boro Prema Patra. While residing in Nilachal, he regularly went to Lord Jagannāth. Pundarik Vidyānidhi was very dear to Sarup Damodar. Dui jane Jagannāth dekhe ek sange, anyone thaken Shri Krishna rasa katha range. So Sarup Damodar and Pundarik Vidyānidhi would go together to see Lord Jagannāth and then enjoy discussing topics of Krishna. Jatra asi bhajilo Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī nam, Naya vastra pore Jagannātha Bhagavan. Soon, the time came for the festival called Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī, On this occasion, Lord Jagannātha wears a new dress. Gaudiya Bhashya. Because Lord Jagannath in Sri Dampuri wears a new winter dress on the 6th day of the waxing moon in the month of Agrahayan, that's sometime in either November or December. This festival is called Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī. Odan means to wear, and Shashti means the 6th day. Or it's the festival of dressing Lord Jagannath. The festival has taken this name because Lord Jagannath wears a winter dress. This festival continues up to the 4th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magh. It's January, February. Shaydin mandua vastra poren ishvare tana jay icha shay mata dasa kore. By the desire of Lord Jagannath, his servants dress him in a starched dress on this day. As servants dress him in a starched dress on this day. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase mandua vastra refers to unwashed, starched cloth. Shri Gora Sundaro Loy Sarva Bhaktagan Aila Dekhita Jatra Shri Vastra Odan. Lord Gaurasundar took all of his devotees and went to see this festival of Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī. One second, I'm starting to get a little sleepy. They had a wedding here last night. And it went on all the way till 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm a little bit sleepy. Like the speakers are blasting all night. But it's my speaker. Okay. So the Lord Gaurasundar took all of his devotees and went to see this festival of Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī. Mridanga muhari shanka tundhubi kahala dhala dagada kada bajaye vishal. Mridangas, muharis, conch shells, kettle drums, kahalas, dhakas, dagadas, and kadas were loudly played. I don't even know what all those are. Guessing they're different types of drums and things like that. Shaydine nana bastra poren ananta shashti hoite lagi rohe makar parjanta. On that day, Lord Jagannath wears various dresses. This festival continues from the 6th day of the waxing moon in the month of Agrahayan, November, December, to the end of the month of Magh, January, February. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Makar Parjanta means up to the end of Magh. Vastra lagi hoite lagilo ratri sheshe bhakta goshti saha prabhu dekhi preme bhashe. The offering of dresses goes on till the end of night. As Lord Chaitanya watched this festival with his devotees, he floated in waves of ecstatic love. Bhakta Goshti Saha Prabhu Dekhi Preme Bhasha. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Lagi Hoite Lagilo means to offer cloth to the body of Lord Jagannath. In Nilachala, the phrase Lagi Hawa, that means to offer, is still used in phrases like Chandaner Lagi Hawa and Pushper Lagi Hawa. Sorry. Apane upasaka upasya apane ke buje tahanaman tan kripa bine. Lord Chaitanya was himself the worshipper. He was himself the worshipper and the object of worship. Apane upasak and upasya. He was the upasak, the worshipper, and the upasya, the object of worship. Ke buje tahanaman tan kripa bine. But without his mercy, who could understand his mind? E Prabhu Daru Rupe, Voishe Yoga Shane, Nyasi Rupe Bhakti Yoga Koren Apane. In the form of the deity, the Lord sat on the throne, and in the form of a sannyasi, he practiced devotional service. And his Darurup, he sat on the throne, Yogasan. And in the Nyasi Rup, in his form as a sannyasi, Bhakti Yoga Koren. He engaged in Bhakti Yoga. Gaudiya Bhashya. In his deity form, Sri Gaurasundar was Lord Jagannātha. And in his sannyasi form, he accepted the mood of a devotee and distributed knowledge to people. Pattaneta Shukla Pita Nila Nana Varne Divya Vastra Den Mukta Rachita Suvarne. Fine white, yellow, and blue silk clothes decorated with pearls and gold were offered to the deity form of the Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase patta neta means fine silk cloth. The word patta refers to jute, silk, etc. And the word neta refers to fine cloth. Vastra lagi hoile den pushpa alankar. Pushper kankan shri kirita pushpahar. After Lord Jagannātha was dressed, he was decorated with flower ornaments, flower bangles, a flower crown, and flower garlands. Gandha pushpa dhupa deep, shodash upachare, puja kori, bhoga dilo vivida prakare. Jagannātha was then worshipped with 16 items, like sandalwood pulp, flowers, incense, and ghee lamps. He was then offered various types of foodstuffs. Tabe Prabhu Jatra Dekhi Sarva Goshti Sange Aila Bhashai Premananda Shukha Range. After the Lord saw this festival in the company of all of his associates, he returned to his residence, absorbed in ecstatic love. Bhashai Vidai Koila Vaishnava Savare Virale Rohila Nijanande Ekeshware. After sending all the Vaishnavas home, the Lord remained alone in his own ecstatic mood. Jarje Bhashai Shabe Korila Gaman Vidyānidhi Damodar Sange Anukhan. All the devotees left for their respective residence, except Pundarik Vidyānidhi, who remained with Swarup Damodar. All the devotees left for their respective residences except Pundarik Vidyānidhi, who remained with Swarup Damodar. Anyone duhar jateka mana katha nishkapate duhe kohe duhare sarvata. Once again. Nishkapate duhe kohe duhare sarvata. They would both disclose their minds to each other without hesitation. Mandua vasana je dhorila Jagannātha sandeha janmilo Vidyānidhir ihate. After seeing Lord Jagannātha wearing starched cloth, Pundarik Vidyānidhi developed some doubt. Jigyasila Damodar Saruper Sthane Mandua Vasana Ishwarere Den Kene. He asked Swarup Damodar, why do they offer starched dress to Lord Jagannātha? Mandua Vasana Ishwarere Den Kene. E deshato shruti smriti shakala prachure tabe kene vina dhote manda vastra pore. The shrutis and smritis are widely accepted in this place. So why is starched cloth offered before it is washed? Damodar Swarup kohen shuno kata deshachare ite dosh na loyen etha. Swarup Damodar replied, please listen. There is no fault in this, because that is the custom of this place. Okay. Shruti smriti je jane she na kore sarvata e jatrar e mata sarvakala etha. Persons who know the Shrutis and Smritis may not observe this festival, but here it has always been observed in this way. Ishwarer icha jodi na thake antare, tobe dekho raja kene nisheda na kore. If this was not the desire of Lord Jagannath, then why hasn't the king stopped it? So Vidyānidhi bole bhalo koruk ishware, ishwarer je karma seva ke kene kore. Ishwarer je karma seva ke kene kore. Pundarik Vidyānidhi said, the Lord may do as he likes, but why do the servants imitate the activities of the Lord? Puja panda pashupal, poricha behara, apavitra vastra kene dhore ba ihara. Why do the priests, the pujaris, the temple superintendents, and the servants touch the unwashed clothes? Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase puja panda refers to the pujari pandas, or learned priests. The phrase Poshupala refers to those pandas who dress Lord Jagannath. See Chaitanya Chandradoy Natak, chapter 8. Jagannātha Ishwar Sambhave Shabdane, Tana Acharana Ki Korivo Sarvajane. Lord Jagannath is the supreme controller. For him, everything is possible. But how can others imitate his activities? Mandavastra sparshe hasta dhuile she shuddhi, ihaba na kore kene hoya subuddhi. If one touches starched cloth, he should wash his hands to purify himself. Why don't such learned persons follow this injunction? Even if one touches starched cloth, he should wash his hands to purify himself. Why don't they follow this injunction? Rajapatra abuddha je ihana vichare, Rajao mandua vastra den nija shire. The government officers are ignorant because they do not consider this. The king even wraps this starched cloth on his head. Damodar Swarup bolen shuno bhai, heno bhuji odan jatrai doshanai. Damodar Swarup replied, please listen, my dear brother. I think there's no fault in this Odan festival. Param Brahma Jagannath Rupa Avatar Vidhi ba Nishedh etha na kore vichar. The Supreme Brahman has incarnated as the deity of Lord Jagannath. Therefore, rules and regulations do not apply to him. One second, just plugging in my computer again. Vidyānidhi bole bhai shuno eka katha, Param Brahma Jagannath Vigraha Sarvata. Pundarik Vidyānidhi said, please listen, brother. The deity of Lord Jagannath is the supreme Brahman in all respects. Tane dosha nahi vidhi nisheda langhile, egulao Brahma hoilo thaki nila chale. He is not at fault, even if he violates the rules and regulations. But have all these others become Brahman by staying in Nilachal? Gaudiya Bhashya. Following local custom, the king would wrap an unwashed starched cloth around his head. Yet the Smriti injunction is that starched cloth is impure. Although this custom of wearing starched cloth is permissible for the Supreme Lord, it is proper for his servants to always remain in a pure state. Brahman is a non-variegated object. It is devoid of all material qualities. The deity form of the Lord is transcendental. So this custom may be suitable for him, but his servants are not Brahman devoid of material qualities. Therefore, they must consider qualities and faults. The servants are not deity incarnations. Vidyānidhi considered that the behavior of Lord Jagannath's servants was faulty. Iharao charilek loka vyavahar, shabe hoilo brahma rupa avatar. They have given up proper etiquette and have become like incarnations of the Supreme Brahman. Eto boli sarvapate hasya hasya, jayen jeheno hasya veshe yukta hoya. While speaking in this way, they laughed again and again as they walked down the road. Dui saka hatahati koriya hasen, Jagannath dasero acharya doshen. The two friends held each other's hands and laughed as they discussed whether Lord Jagannath's servants were at fault. Sabina janen sarva daser prabhav, Krishna she janen jar jatta anurag. No one can understand the glories of Lord Krishna's servants. Only Krishna knows their attachment for him. Brahmo korayen Krishna apana dasere, Brahmach chedo kore pache sadoy antare. Sometimes Krishna sometimes bewilders his devotee, and then feeling compassion for him, he destroys his illusion. Gaudiya Bhashya. Although Pundarik Vidyānidhi was a great devotee, when he enacted the pastime of finding fault in the devotees of Lord Jagannath, the affectionate Supreme Lord performed one pastime to destroy his staged illusion. Hare Krishna Rasapriya Didi. Brahma koraila Vidyānidhire apane, Brahmach cheda kripao shuniba e kane. First, the Lord bewildered Pundarik Vidyānidhi. Now you'll hear how the Lord destroyed his illusion. Eyamatarange dhange dui priya sakha, cholilen Krishna karje jar jatha vasa. In this way, the two intimate friends went to their residences to perform their Krishna conscious duties. Krishna karja. Vikakori ailen Gauranger sthane, Prabhu sthane asi sabe thakila shayane. After taking their meals, they went to Gauranga's residence for some time. Then they returned to their residences and took rest. Shakala janen Prabhu Chaitanya Goshai, Jagannātha rupe swapne gela than time. In his form as Lord Jagannath, the omniscient Lord Chaitanya appeared before Pundarik Vidyānidhi in a dream. One second, I just want to check something. I'm just seeing if we're reading too much, because I want to leave something for our last reading. Just seeing how long the chapter is. Okay, I think it's okay. Yeah. Okay. Shakala janen Prabhu Chaitanya Goshai Jagannatha rupe swapne gela tana tai. So in his form as Lord Jagannath, the omniscient Lord Chaitanya appeared before Pundarik Vidyānidhi in a dream. Swapane dekhen Vidyānidhi Mahashai, Jagannatha bolai ashi hoila vijay. Vidyānidhi Mahashai saw Lord Jagannath and Balarāma appear before him in his dream. Krodh rup Jagannath Vidyānidhi dekhe, apane dhoriya tare choraye namukhe. Vidyānidhi saw Lord Jagannath catch hold of him and slap his face in an angry mood. Dui bhai mili choro mare dui gale, heno doro choraya je angoli gale phule. The two brothers, Jagannatha and Balarāma, slapped him on his cheek so hard that his swollen face bore impressions of their fingers. My God, that's really hard. That's really hard if you slap so hard that you can see the impressions of the fingers. Dukha pai Vidyānidhi Krishna rakha bole, aparada komo boli pore pada tale. Feeling distress, Vidyānidhi fell at their feet and prayed, Krishna, save me, forgive my offenses. Gaudiya Bhashya. As a result of Vidyānidhi's finding fault with the behavior of Jagannāth's servants, Jagannātha and Śrī Balarāma appeared in a dream before Vidyānidhi and profusely slapped him on the face. Vidyānidhi asked Kanai and Balai why they were unnecessarily punishing him. What was his offense? When his offense was disclosed, he begged pardon from them. Kon aparade more mara ho goshai. Prabhu bole tor aparadher anta nai. O Lord, for what offense are you beating me? The Lord replied, there is no end to your offenses. Mor jati mor seva ker jati nai. Shakal janila tumi rohi e time. I do not belong to any caste, and my servants also do not belong to any caste. You should have learned this while staying here. Tabe kene rohi acho jati nashasthane. Jati rakhi chalo tumi apana bhavane. Why then are you staying in a place where you will lose your caste? If you want to protect your caste, you better go home. Why are you staying here with me? You're going to lose your caste. Go home. Ami je koria achi jatrar nibanda tahate obhava anacharer sambandha. I have inaugurated the traditional observance of this festival. How then can you think that there is any improper behavior in it? Amare koria brahma sevaka nindiya mandua kaparsthane dosha drishti diya. You accept me as a supreme Brahman, but you offend my servants by finding fault in their dressing me with starched cloth. Hare Krishna Gopal Ganesham Prabhu. Gaudiya Bhashya. What was his offense? In answer to this, Jagannath said that he had committed the offense of criticizing his servants for dressing him in starched cloth. If Vidyānidhi wished to protect his religious principles and caste, he should leave Śrī Kshetra and return to his own residence. These activities appear faulty only from the external point of view. Swapne Vidyānidhi maha bhoy pai mane, krandana koren matha dori Śrī charane. Vidyānidhi felt great fear. He therefore placed his head at the lotus feet of the Lord and cried, Shab aparada prabhu kama papishtere ghantilo prabhu bolilo tomare. Please forgive the offenses of this most sinful person. I am defeated. I apologize. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word gatinu means I apologize or I accept defeat. Okay. Jai mukhe hasilu prabhu tor seva kere Shri mukher shasti prabhu bhalo koila more. O Lord, with this mouth I have laughed at your servants. So you have now properly punished that mouth. Bhalo dino hoilo mor, aji suprabhat, mukha kapoler bhage bajilo shihat. This is the auspicious beginning of a new day, for my face and forehead were touched by your lotus hand. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sri Pundarik Vidyānidhi thought about his bodily pains and understood that the touch of the Lord's lotus hands had awakened his good fortune. He was extremely happy because the Lord had personally punished him. This is the real mercy of the Lord on his servant. Prabhu bole tore anugraher lagila, tomare korilo shasti sevaka dekhiya. The Lord replied, I have punished you to bestow mercy on you, for I consider you my servant. Swapne premanidhi prati prem drishti kori, deule aila dui bhai Rama Hari. In this way, the two brothers, Jagannath and Balaram, mercifully glanced on Premanidhi in his dream and then returned to their temple. Swapna deki Vidyānidhi jagiya uthila, gale chhora deki sab hasite lagila. After seeing this dream, Pundarik Vidyānidhi woke up. Then he saw the slap marks on his cheeks and began to laugh. Shri Haster chhore sab phuliyache gala, deki Premanidhi bole, boro bhalo bhalo, boro bhalo bhalo. This is great. His cheeks were swollen from the slapping of the lotus hands of the Supreme Lord. Seeing this, Premanidhi said, "This is very good. Boro bhalo bhalo. Je kohilo apara dar shasti pailu. Bhaloi, bhaloi koilen prabhu alpa edailu." I have received punishment for my offense, yet the Lord has mercifully awarded me only a token punishment. Dekho dekho ei Vidyānidhir mahima, sevakere doya joto tar ei sima. Just see the glories of Pundarik Vidyānidhi. This is a limit of the Lord's mercy on his devotees. Putra je pradumna tahane o oheno mate, charona maren prabhu shikshar nimitte. The Lord did not even slap his own son Pradyumna to teach him in this way. Janaki Rukmini Satya Bhama Adi Jata Ishvari ar ache koto koto. Ishvari ar ache koto koto. Shakshate mare jar aparada hoy. Swapner prasada shasti drishya kabunoy. The Lord's associates and consorts like Janaki, Rukmini, Satyabhama, as well as the various gods and goddesses, are directly punished if they commit an offense. But to receive the Lord's mercy by being punished in a dream is rarely seen. Swapni danda pai kiba artha labha hoy, jagile purushoshe shakala kichu noy. Someone who receives punishment or wealth in a dream has nothing to show for it when he wakes up. Shasti va prasada prabhu swapne jare kore, je jodi shakshat loke dekhe phal dhore. But if the Lord punishes or bestows mercy on someone in a dream, the results are seen by everyone. Tar boro bhagyavan nahi ko samsare, swapne ho na kohe kichu abhakta janere. There is no one so fortunate in this world, for the Lord does not speak to non-devotees, even in their dreams. Shakshate she e sab bujaho vichare, e je javana gane ninda hingsa kore, taharao swapne anubhava matra chahe, ninda hingsa kore dekhi swapna nahi paye. By analyzing this incident, one can directly understand that because the Yavanas engage in blasphemy and violence, they can never see the Lord in their dreams, even if they want to. Okay, we're ending with these two verses here. Javaner ki dai je brahmana sajan, tara jata aparada kore anukhan, aparada hoile dui loke dukha pai, swapne ho abhakta papishtere nashi khai. What to speak of Yavanas? Even respectable Brahmins who constantly commit offenses, they attain miseries in this life and the next as a result of their offenses. Yet the Lord does not teach such sinful non-devotees in their dreams. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Supreme Lord always remains aloof from either rewarding or punishing the non-devotees. But since he is the well-wisher of the devotees, he rectifies his dear devotee by punishing him in his dream. So we will continue on. A person who receives instructions from the Lord in a dream considers himself most fortunate. Evidence of the mercy of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Evidence of the mercy Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata received when he was beaten by the Lord in a dream could be seen by everyone. When Pundarik Vidyānidhi got up in the morning, he could feel with his hands that his cheeks were swollen. Anyhow, we will continue reading this. I want to continue reading right now, but I'm saving a little bit to read for our last reading the day after tomorrow. So we'll end here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityananda Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shri Guru Deva ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Vamana Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashratara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatara Shata Shishmad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Mahābhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Śrī Rupa Nagakoriya Guru Varga ki jai. Śrī Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Nama Chai Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Jai Shri Pundarik Vidyānidhi ki jai. Shri Gadādhara Pandit ki jai. Shri Swarup Damodar ki jai. The divine friendship between Swarup Damodar and Pundarik Vidyānidhi ki jai. Jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Jai. The Lord Jagannātha and Balarāma chastising Pundarik Vidyānidhi ki jai. Oḍana-ṣaṣṭhī ki jai. Jai. All the sevaks of Jagannāth Dev ki jai. Jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Jai. The Lord's two closest sannyasi associates, Shri Swarup Damodar and Shri Paramananda Puri ki jai. Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. This last chapter of Antya-khaṇḍa ki jai. Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Shubhananta Prabhu, Ananta Omji, Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu, Krishna Kripa Prabhu, Vidyalala Sadidi, Rasapriya Didi, and all the other devotees watching on YouTube and Facebook. Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining this reading, and our next Chaitanya Bhagavat reading will be the last one. We'll be concluding in our next reading. So the day after tomorrow, after Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's Disappearance Day festival that we're going to have tomorrow, the day after that, on Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur's Disappearance Day, will be our last reading. So I hope you'll all be able to join that. I think maybe it would be nice, I'll see if I can get a Chaitanya Bhagavat, a big Chaitanya Bhagavat with Gaudiya Bhashya, and then maybe we can do a little arati and puja to conclude our program. And then we'll be starting the next program, going through all the songs of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all the songs of Sharanagati, Kalyana Kalpataru, Gitavali, Gitamala. I just recorded a video this morning on the Ganga, and I'm going to edit it, and I'll try to finish and put it out by today with all the details of the program. All right, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you so much for joining. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.